Hey, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. I want to welcome you in if you are a new viewer, and I want to welcome you back if you are a new or old subscriber. In this video, I just want to address something that comes up once in a while, which is when sellers get worried because they have not made a sale in 24 hours or have not made a sale in 48 hours or maybe a little bit longer. When that happens, it's not uncommon for sellers to get nervous and worry that the selling platform that they're selling on is broken in some way. So you hear this a lot on a lot of Facebook groups, is that eBay is broken. Or, you could say the same thing with other selling platforms. Maybe Poshmark is broken, or Mercari's broken, or is Amazon FBA broken, or is there something wrong with merch because my t-shirts aren't selling? The answer to that question is a big fat no. There's nothing wrong with any of those networks. eBay's not broken. None of those things are happening, because the day that you are not making a sale in 24 to 48 hours is the day that another seller just made 12, 15, 50 sales, okay? It's not broken. The thing you have to understand is that eBay or Amazon FBA or merch or Mercari or any of these other places, there's a natural ebb and flow to it. And sometimes it makes sense. If you're running promotions on a certain day, you're going to get more sales than if you decided not to run promotions, for example. There could be reasons why sales are better on one day than they are on another day. But sometimes, even if you've done everything right, you just aren't going to make a sale, for example. Or something else is going to go wrong. You're just going to get two returns, or maybe you get a negative feedback or a neutral feedback or something like that. Things aren't always going to go your way, and that's not just part of eBay or part of selling online. That's part of what happens in brick and mortar businesses, and that's just part of life in general. Some days stink and some days are better than others. But if you want to be successful, you have to persevere through the hard times. You have to persevere through the difficult days and not just give up because you have a brief little rough patch. Okay? You have to remember that things are going to get better. As long as you're doing things the right way, as long as you have your listing titles right, as long as you have your descriptions right, as long as you have things set up and priced competitively, and just keep listing, things are going to get better for you. So don't panic. Don't think that things are broken in terms of selling platforms. They're not. Just keep in mind there's a roller coaster effect sometimes in terms of selling online, that just, you have a couple of days where things just aren't going well, and then you'll just have a couple of days where things are going great and they're going awesome. Okay, so just understand that. That's just part of it, especially if you're a new seller and you got nervous about this, that, this is the first time that, or a couple times maybe that you haven't made sales within a brief period of time, like I said, 24, 48 hours. It's natural. It's just part of what's going to happen. Now, a couple things I'll tell you just in terms of coping with it and things you could do beyond just realizing that things should get better. There's a few things I would tell you. One, on days where you have some downtime because you haven't made sales, use that to your advantage. Turn a negative, which a negative would be that you don't have sales, turn that into a positive. How do you do that? Tackle, for example, some other part of your business that may be neglected in some way. So maybe, for example, your storage room area is a mess and you need to clean it up, but you just haven't had time because the prior 4 days you've just had a lot of orders that you've had to do or a lot of listings that you had to get up. So take advantage of this downtime and get that area organized, because that's going to help you improve the functionality of your business. Or maybe you get through a collection that you purchased and you organize it and you sort it and you prep it and you take some pictures so that you're ready to go. So maybe that collection you just haven't had time to get to because it's pretty, it's going to require a lot of time to kind of really sit through it and dig through it. So now you have some free time. So take advantage of it and jump all over that and use that. Now, I'm giving you some ideas of some things that you could do with your business on downtime days, but maybe you want to just do something different from business related. Maybe you want to spend some extra time with your family that day. Maybe you want to go out to a movie. Maybe you want to go out to dinner. Maybe you want to go to the gym. Do some things that you maybe haven't been doing as much because you've just been so busy with other parts of your reselling business. So those are days you take advantage of. Now, obviously, if this is something that's going on in a prolonged way, you have to figure out, okay, am I doing something wrong? Is this going on for 3-4 days that I haven't made a sale, and you have 100 items up that are listed? There's probably a problem somewhere in your system, and then you do need to figure that out. Like I said, sometimes things just aren't going to go right. Like you're going to have, 2 returns that come in on a particular day. Maybe you just went 3 months without any returns, but now all of a sudden on one day, 2 returns, no sales, and maybe a neutral or a negative feedback. Things like that are going to happen sometimes, but you can't let that get you too down. That doesn't mean that you don't get upset by it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't bother you. But what it does mean is that you just persevere through it. The next day you wake up and you just put that behind you. You got to have a short memory for the bad parts, and you just got to move on to the next day, because by and large, your good days on eBay, your good days reselling are going to be way, way more frequent than any of the negative days. So don't over focus on the negative. Focus way more on the positive, and on those days where something bad happens or just something doesn't happen great, like a bunch of sales, just find a way to turn that into a positive in some way. Now, if it's something regarding a return or a negative feedback that you messed up on your end, use that as a way to learn from it and to grow to become a better business. So, one of the things I see a lot in terms of feedbacks when I'm looking through, maybe even just to buy something, or if I'm looking at another seller and I'm looking at their feedback profile in terms of competition, one of the things I see is that if a customer complains about something, the seller almost reflexively always lashes out at the buyer. And to me, that does not look good. And I think it's just better off sometimes just not to comment, depending on what was said. Now, sometimes I understand you might want to write something back because of the nature of what was said about you and about your business, but just try to keep it professional. Don't make it so personal where you're lashing out against the other person. In addition, if you did possibly make a mistake, sit back, reflect on that, and decide what it is that you need to do different. I mean, I told a story once on here about how I incorrectly mailed out a beer tap and how it got damaged and how I resolved that. It's the video that's on how to turn a neutral feedback or a negative feedback into a positive feedback, which is exactly what happened. I wound up being described as the best seller on eBay for that reason. And I'm not saying I am the best seller on eBay. I'm just saying that's what the customer said, because that's how I turned a situation that was definitely going to be bad into a positive one. So learn from your mistakes. I learned from that in terms of how I'm definitely going to ship out beer taps and beer handles from now on. I have a lot more I have to list, but I took from that something positive, which was a bad experience. I had to do a return, obviously I lost a little bit of money on that compared to what I would have gotten if I didn't have to do the return and send out another beer tap. But ultimately, it's going to be positive for me down the road based on the feedback that was left for me and what I learned from it in terms of making my business better. So, try again as much as possible. Try to find the silver linings in things and try to turn those negatives into positives. Stick with it. Persevere. Again, your good days are going to be much better than any bad days or any lulls. That's about it for today. I just want to do a little bit of a motivational video because I haven't done one of those yet. So if you have any tips in terms of motivation, or just in terms of getting yourself going, things that you do when you have a slow day, or when you have a couple of bad things that happen to you, please make sure you drop that down below in the comment section, because I'm sure everyone else would benefit from that. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the like button down below. Again, drop a comment. Also, please subscribe to the channel if you like this video and like some other content. It will give you notifications that new videos are up. Plus, when I see that there are more subscribers, it makes me want to make more videos for you and make good content for you. Last but not least, make sure you join the growing Facebook group that I run, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. New members coming in every day. It's a really great supportive network. There's really not any rules per se on it, except just don't really be spammy. I do allow you to put in your own links and to promote your business and stuff like that in terms of your brand and things. But also it's a place where you could just get great support from a group of members, from people all over the globe, who are on there. We have people, you know, from the United States to Australia to Canada and all sorts of things. So come on by. Just hit the link down below to the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. I'll look at your profile and let you in as long as everything looks good, and then you'll be right on board. So I look forward to seeing you there. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.